NFL, the Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to ask you a question here. And I don't know whether this is controversial or whether this is clickbaity, Brian. I have no idea. What with the Miami Dolphins not having the best season so far, 1-3, Tua Tagovailoa, their quarterback, he's out for we don't know how long. The Kansas City Chiefs, they have no Isaiah Pacheco. They have no Hollywood Brown. They have no Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They have no Rashee Rice now after he went out injured, potentially with an ACL. Here is my controversial
Give it to us.
question. Should the Kansas City Chiefs trade for Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill?
Well, I know this is the conversation that's going around at the moment, and you can see why, because of the hole that the Chiefs are in. However, I just don't see Andy Reid taking back Tyreek Hill. And also, I don't see McDaniels getting rid of Tyreek Hill because he's all they really have at the moment. I mean, we're talking about the Chiefs, but the Miami Dolphins are in dire straits at the moment.
But that's the logic, though, isn't it? That's the logic. Miami Dolphins are in dire straits right now, Brian.
So we had the story last year at talkSPORT.com about this, how when Mike McDaniel realized that he had a shot to get Tyreek Hill, it was more important than getting his franchise quarterback. He was absolutely ecstatic. He could not believe they could get him. So it's almost impossible to think that the Dolphins, just because Tua is out, would give up Tyreek Hill. However, the contract, I was just looking at the contract numbers, and there's this thing called the salary cap in the NFL, which is pretty serious. The contract's not that bad. You know, that you could actually figure out a way. Tyreek Hill is only under contract for 2 more years. His cap hit right now is not that bad. In a couple of years, it goes up to $55 million. That doesn't work. But contractually, there's probably a way they can make it work. I think it's a question, would Tyreek Hill want to go back? Because Tyreek Hill was so vocal that Tua was better than Patrick Mahomes, which is absolutely insane. But if you're the Chiefs, if you're Patrick Mahomes, you're Travis Kelce, you're Andy Reid, you have to explore every opportunity right now. Tyreek Hill helps you win a Super Bowl. I think they have to look at it.
I think you do, but that's why they went and got Xavier Worthy, because he was replacing the poor man's Tyreek Hill, right? Cost a fraction of the cost of him. But also, if we're looking at who they're really needing to replace, and that is Rashee Rice, I mean, Rashee kind of took over Travis Kelce's job. So ultimately, you need to be able to get a Travis Kelce-esque guy, more reps, more opportunities on the ball, and then find that slot player. It doesn't necessarily need to be the fastest guy because it's the Chiefs. They're going to find creative ways to get the ball to their athletes in that situation.
And Phoebe's right. We saw that last year, that endless questions week after week about the Chiefs wide receivers. You had drops, they weren't good enough. But by the playoffs, by the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was taking lesser names and turning they looked like Pro Bowlers all of a sudden. I think we also saw this week Travis Kelce finally look like Travis Kelce again. Yeah. We were all writing him off. And now Travis Kelce's remembered how to catch a pass and be a game changer for the Chiefs.
Now look, on last week's edition, you were very vocal about your feeling about Travis Kelce. And
yes.
You were not saying, is Travis Kelce back? I don't think you were being very critical. Is he back?
It's 1 week. You know, I need Travis Kelce to keep doing that, to stay motivated. But one of the things that we love about Travis Kelce, he's one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. He's a Hall of Fame lock. Everyone knew Travis Kelce before Taylor Swift. But Travis Kelce was off last year. It really took until the playoffs for him to really kick it up. And he was horrible through 3 weeks. So I think we saw last week, Travis Kelce, the Chiefs are down, they lose another body, and he steps up. Can he do that week after week when he's being double teamed? That's why I think they need another weapon.
And I think you're right. Look, even looking at the game last weekend, they were trying to manufacture throws to him. That interception where he had the corner routes to the left. Like, they're trying to squeeze the ball to him and get him more involved, because when you start to get him cooking, not only does it take the pressure off everyone else because you're looking at different ways to double team him, but we've seen that relationship for so many years now between Mahomes himself, that ability to find space in the zone, the ability on the scrambles to just be that friendly body. And that's what Mahomes needs right now. He needs, and I feel like we had this conversation last year, who is that guy going to be for Mahomes when they're in trouble, when they need that first down? And that's that kind of reputation they need back again.
You said last week, Brian, Travis Kelce is not a good player. Is Travis Kelce a good player?
Well, Will said the same thing, so I was just following the host.
Well, Will's not here today. Will's not here today.
I was just following the host. Travis Kelce's one of the, I just said it, Travis Kelce's one of the best tight ends in NFL history.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking about the history. I'm saying this season, is Travis Kelce a good player? Can they rely on Travis Kelce to get that three-peat?
We will find out.
You're sitting on the fence, Brian.
No, that's a fact. We will find out. Through 3 weeks, Travis Kelce was not good enough. That's a fact. I have no problem saying that. I will put my name all over that. And I think I will flip it back to you. Do you know football? If you know football, you would look at the stats and say that Travis Kelce was horrible through 3 weeks. That was perfectly fair to call him out. He was good last week. He wasn't the best tight end in the NFL. He has to keep doing this week after week and prove it. And he's going to get double teamed. He's going to get triple teamed. It's on the front office, Andy Reid, to go and find Patrick Mahomes another weapon. They are not winning the Super Bowl again if Travis Kelce is average and you're beat up. No, he has not been good enough this year.
Okay, so we'll talk about the Chiefs' weapons just really quickly then. We'll put Tyreek Hill to the side and we'll say potentially their top weapons right now are Xavier Worthy, who we have seen flash in the first few games, right? Juju Smith-Schuster, and they've brought in...
I don't even know what he does anymore.
And Kareem Hunt they've brought in as well. Back to the Kansas City Chiefs.
I mean, Kareem Hunt gave him a little bit of juice over the weekend. They needed somebody. Carson Steele, he's still a rookie. He's still young. He
fumbled. It was a costly fumble.
Precisely, and that's the second fumble of the season. But what I love is that Andy Reid always gives him that chance again, right? Look, you're young, you're going to learn. And I think that's what's really nice about the setup is they're, going back to Brian's point, they're going to bring in people from other teams. They're going to bring in people who perhaps wouldn't normally get those opportunities. They're not your big name guys, but they're going to get those chances time and time again. However, if you're saying our goal for this year is to get the three-peat, are these the people who are actually going to be able to get you there?
I just don't feel like they're good enough right now. I think we've seen that. They are 4-0, so there's only 2 undefeated teams left in the NFL right now. Minnesota, who no one predicted, and most people would have said Kansas City will be 4-0 if they beat Baltimore, but they're not convincing. They don't have enough offensive talent. Their defense is better than the offense, and that was the case last year, but they still had enough names, and Patrick Mahomes, you knew he was going to figure that out. This was the first time in the Mahomes, Kelce, Reid era. I look at this roster, offensively especially, they have to find some answers, and I don't think they're on that roster. They're going to have to make some moves to do this. If they want to be the first team ever to three-peat, they have to be bold and they have to be aggressive.
Well, as we've seen throughout the last few years, Patrick Mahomes does upgrade his offensive talent, so we will see over the next few weeks whether or not he's going to be able to do that, potentially with names that aren't on the roster right now. 100 games in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. It's an achievement for any NFL player, absolutely. But this just so happens to be quite a talent, doesn't it? Where do you think Patrick Mahomes ranks all time in NFL quarterbacks? Let's go, Phoebe.
I mean,
difficult question, I understand that.
It is difficult. I mean, they put on that graphic over the games this weekend of Mahomes in his 100 games and, who he's kind of beat out in every single category. I mean, some of the most amazing names out there, your Tom Brady's, your John Elway's, Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how you can take any of that away from him. The biggest thing when I look at that is the style of play that he has now. The style, kind of the age of the NFL we're in now is so different to all those other quarterbacks, stand in the pocket, throw it downfield. Right now, Tom Brady is still the forever GOAT for me. But Mahomes is, if they get this three-peat, how do you not say that he is one of the greatest of all time?
Well, one of the greatest of all times is a sentence that I think a lot of the people will agree with. Tom Brady's on the broadcast at the moment, of course, and he potentially is the greatest of all time. Should we be comparing both of those?
Tom Brady is. So let's just state this. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time.
100%.
There's no debate about that. And I'm glad you asked this because I read about this last year and wrote about it this year. We have a story at talkSPORT.com ranking the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. And I used to have a conversation with one of my previous colleagues. I did not have Patrick Mahomes in that list midway through last season because he needed the extra Super Bowl. He wasn't good enough yet because if we're talking all time, we're talking longevity. We're talking Brady, GOATs. Not just playing 5 or 6 years and being good, playing 18 years and being good. Quarterbacks last forever. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is number 10 for me all time. He is in the top 10, but it's incredible. We can have fun with it. It's a really, really hard list to crack. You have incredible names that can't get in that list because there's been so many good quarterbacks. Where do you put Joe Montana on this list? Yeah. Where do you put Fran Tarkenton on this list? Roger Staubach, right? Recency bias. We talk about that a lot in modern media.
But 3 Super Bowls is 3 Super Bowls. It's a lot.
It's good. So he's number 10, but he needs to win another and another.